Hey YouTube, my name's Chris and welcome back to Garage Noise. In last episode we painted the cab and the front clip on the Chevy truck project. But today we're going to go ahead and color sand this entire side. I've already color sanded the hood and this side. I've already color sanded this side and you can see me in the picture. It's like glass. So let's get started. We're also going to paint the running boards in here. I've got them in here. I've already painted them, but we're going to do that today. So let's get started. So today we're going to totally wrap up this Bahama Blue Chevy truck project. It's been fun. It's been a lot of work. I've really enjoyed it, but it's going to be completed today. So after we complete the Chevy truck, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the end of this video on the next project. I'm pretty excited about it because I've never worked on one of these vehicles. And if you're on my Instagram, you already know what type of vehicle this is. So you've got the inside scoop. So if you haven't seen my Instagram, check it out. It's Garage Noise 247. And there you'll get the inside scoop on the new videos coming up and the new projects. So check it out. So now I'm painting all the little trim pieces Bahama Blue for this truck. I want to make sure I get in all those little curves, so I like to paint those first. I like to paint those hard to get areas and get good coverage on those first, and then I'll go back and cover the rest of it. And I'm probably going to put about 2 coats on this. It's covering pretty well, being all one primer color. And I am using the Astro Pneumatic Euro Pro HE still enjoying this gun. Looking into some other guns. I'm looking for a couple budget guns to get to review. So if you have any ideas on some guns you want reviewed, leave them in the comments below and I'll check them out and see if they would work for what I'm looking for. So my goal is to find the best budget gun out there for you guys and for myself, because I really enjoy spraying with the budget guns. I just like getting value for my money, and I know everybody does, but it's just like an old car. If I can buy an old car that's cheap and drive it, I don't know. There's something about that. I've got very little money into it. I can fix it up. I just really enjoy that. I'm not sure why. If you feel the same way, leave a comment below. Okay, so this is the second or third coat of paint. I can't remember which, but I'm putting it on a little heavier here, just making sure everything's covered. There's no transparent areas. You don't want to have any transparent areas. In fact, you want to look at it after you're done spraying very well before you clean your gun. Take a light around it if you have to, and check out all the edges or anywhere just to make sure there's no transparent areas and it's all one uniform color before you start clearing. So now I'm putting the first coat of clear on. We're going to put just a good medium coat on it and make sure it has a good base for the second coat, the flow coat. So again, make sure you spray very well in those hard to reach areas. It's easy to get dry spray in there. I go over them first with the clear coat and then put a coat over the entire thing. That's one pet peeve of mine, is having those areas dry. I want them to flow out nice and to look nice and shiny and glossy. Okay, now I'm putting the final flow coat on, hitting it a little heavier, letting it flow out so it has a really nice glassy look. We're not going to wet sand and buff these running boards. It's too time consuming. It's not necessary. They're low. So I want to make them flow out nice right out of the gun. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and wet sand this side. I've already wet sanded and buffed the fender. We're gonna wet sand the door and the cab corner and then the roof. First thing I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna use 2000 grit sandpaper to start wet sanding. The orange peel on this is not very bad. There's not a lot of trash in it or anything, so I'm gonna use a mild sandpaper, which is 2000 grit. We're gonna wash this real quick, get it clean, and then we're gonna start wet sanding with 2000 grit sandpaper. So I'm going to use a piece of 2000 grit on this soft sponge pad. We're going to wrap it in that, and then I'm going to hold it flat as I wet sand this panel. Now, if I hear any sort of scratching or anything, I'm going to stop and make sure I keep it clean. So we're going to wash it, and then I'll start wet sanding. Okay, so I'm not going to use the 2000 grit. My delivery guy just came, and he brought me this sponge pad, and this is the 3000 one, but he's got also 2000. So I'm gonna put it on the Orbital sander. This has a interface pad on it, so it's just a hook it pad, and I'm gonna put the 2000 grit on here, and we're gonna wet sand it first with 2000 grit and see how that works. See, 2000 grit Mirka product. I'll put the link in the description if I can find it. So let's clean this with the squeegee and just see how well it sanded it. I've never used this product before, so I'm just trying it out, taking you along with me. Man, it looks, I'm impressed. That sanded it out real nice. Wow. I mean, I just went over, let's see if you can see that there. I didn't go over it very long. I didn't press real hard. I just went over it, you know, probably 2 or 3 passes. I thought I would need to at least do that. And I thought I would have to go back over it again after I cleaned it, but it doesn't look like I do. I mean, this is totally flat. I don't see any orange peel in it. You can tell it's flat. If you look down the side, you can see that it's flat. There's no orange peel. So you can see a little bit of orange peel texture if you look in this light. I don't know if this is showing up on camera, but if you look, and maybe I can zoom in. If you look in this light here, you should be able to see some orange peel. So let's go ahead and sand this area with the 2000 grit, and I'll show you how it turns out. Just adding a little bit of water. Okay, there you go. You can see how flat that is. I think you can tell on camera. I can tell here, but hopefully this shows up on camera. But this is totally flat. There is no orange peel in this, and I am freaking amazed. This Mirka 2000 grit sanded that totally flat. Now I'm gonna go back over this with 3000 grit and get it to remove these 2000 grit scratches, but you might not have to. You might be able to buff that out really well with just the 2000 grit. But I'm gonna go over it with 3000 just to make it the buffing a little bit easier and see how it does. I might test it out, buffing just the 2000 grit scratches and see how they come out. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of this truck and the roof. This is a huge time saver. It's really quick. I mean, I went over it really quick. It was less than a minute. A few of you have asked why I never use 1500 Trizac paper on the Orbital sander, and I used to, but what it does is it creates little pigtails in the clear coat, and they're extremely difficult to buff. So I stopped using that. I went back to hand sanding with 2000 grit. But this Mirka 2000 grit, I think that might be my new go-to sandpaper. Okay, so here's the finished product. It's getting a little rained on, but we're gonna get ready to install the bed. So there it is, all put together. He's gonna go ahead and assemble the rest of it at home. He disassembled it, so we put the bed on just temporarily so we could drive it home. But it's been a fun project, but I'm glad to see it go. But stay tuned. I'm going to show you the next project here, and we'll take a look at it. I want to thank you all for all the love and support for this channel. I appreciate it so much. I hope you learned a lot. Let's check out the new project. This is it right here. It's a 2015 C7 Corvette. They got damaged by a deer. We're going to go ahead and tear this apart in the next video. So stay tuned, look out for that, and we'll see you next time.